I feel great.
Hey, that's a good complimentary football game. Right? All three phases contributed. All right, we didn't have it the way we wanted in the first quarter. Just keep plugging away, fellas. I can see the belief that you have in one another, and you can see it on the football field. I'm just telling you, it's real. Okay, it's real. So that's 3 in a row. All right, that's 3 in a row. And I have one thing to say. Where's Chandler Jones?
Yes.
And now we got to keep it going. All right, that's the burden we have now. Let's do that for one another. The strain is obvious. Okay, the strain is obvious. We've figured out how we need to play and how we need to win, more importantly. All right, and that's our formula. All right, and that's our formula. We're going to keep going.
Hey, we off, but we ain't off tomorrow.
That's right.
We got to get another win on Thursday.
Stay at home tonight.
Hey, stay at home, get your body right, make sure you're ready to go tomorrow. Get in there with your positions, watch film, get ready for the next one. Okay? It'll be a crappy feeling on Thursday if we don't take care of business. All right? Let's go. Win on three.
Make it 3 in a row with a win over the Chargers, interdivisional rival. They go home to Allegiant Stadium. They come out with the win, 27-20. Welcome into Raiders Game Day, everybody. I'm Amber Theoharis, along with Eric Allen. And Eric, this was a complimentary football kind of game,
yes,
as Coach McDaniel said. Starting with the defense, playing so much better in this 3-game win streak, but taking a huge leap into the first quarter, coming out fast, coming out strong. And Chandler Jones, 3 sacks in this game.
Nothing better than beating the Chargers, first of all, that hated rival down there. And again, and you've alluded to the last couple of weeks, talk about defensively, the last 3 weeks, this football team has been a different mindset. Again, they said they figured it out. Again, we talked about Harmon wearing the green dot in the back of his helmet, seemed to settle that defense down a little bit, get great pressure up the middle. Of course, Mac's going to always do his thing, but today was Chandler Jones's day. What an outstanding performance he had today. Congratulations for him. You know he's been patient all year long, been close, but he got there today.
We're going to talk to him a little bit later in the show. Here's what's coming up today on Raiders Game Day. Full game highlights for you, player and coach interviews. We're going to talk to Davante Adams, Chandler Jones, much more. EA Spotlight focuses on Chandler Jones and that defense. And Monday Night Football coming up between the Bucs and the Saints. We're going to give you our pick'ems. But first, let's check in on the Raiders and the Chargers. Josh McDaniels hugging it up. Mark Davis there at Allegiant Stadium. The Chargers opening possession. It's 1st and 10 on their own 32-yard line, and Max Crosby's pressure forces a fumble. Justin Herbert does recover.
Yeah, but you got to continue to really pressure that pocket, get hits on Justin. He's such a dynamite young player, but all day long, this is what we saw from our defensive line.
Yep, and so Chandler Jones gets the sack. 4th and 3 now, and they line up to punt, but you know they love going for it.
We know they go for it on 4th down.
Come on,
either way.
special teams.
Yes, gotta know that. You
so
gotta
they
know
get
that.
The first down, and you know special teams had to be practicing that.
You have to. You've seen it over and over. You know this team goes for it on 4th down. But again, you have to find a way to make sure you make them pay for it.
And it did right there. That's the former Charger, Jerry Tillery. They waived him just a few weeks ago, forces a punt. So here are the Raiders. Derek Carr, short pass to Josh Jacobs, but he fumbles.
Oh.
He doesn't do that.
He doesn't do that. He's really, really sound in his ball protection, but just an outstanding job of their linebacker punching it out. That's kind of way the guys tackle now anyway. But that's going to come back to haunt them later in the game when they're trying to punch the ball out. They should be tackling guys.
Exactly. Kyle Van Noy, by the way, on the fumble recovery for the Chargers. So the Chargers take over with great field position, 3rd and 2. Herbert looks for Austin Eckler in the end zone, but incomplete.
Oh, yeah. There again, I thought the linebackers, for the most part, one-on-one, that was a really big-time matchup. Our linebackers won that most of the day.
4th and 2 from the 17, and Chandler Jones again with a big play with the tackle, forces the Chargers a turnover on down. So the Raiders take over on their own 21-yard line. Derek Carr, though, intercepted.
Tips and overthrows, got to get those. Great play by the defense. But again, as you're a receiver, you got to make sure you secure that ball. And if you can't, knock it down somehow.
You know what? Bryce Callahan has been really good for the Chargers this year.
Yes.
He had an interception against the Raiders in Week 1.
Right, Week 1.
If you remember that. So jumping ahead now to the second quarter, and Derek Carr finds Davante Adams. That's his first catch, though.
It's second quarter, right, Amber?
It's the second quarter. We're going to talk about that.
Let's go.
We're going to talk about that. I have a problem with that. 2 plays later, Derek Carr again Davante Adams, the collabo is in effect.
Yeah, it's a great throw and catch. I mean, if you guys didn't see this, it's an outstanding route, kind of a dagger route, but Derek put that ball right on the money.
But there's other receivers. Mac Hollins is one of them, and Derek hits him across the middle for 14 yards.
Give me some.
First
All right.
down Raiders.
He's going to give us some, Amber. You're going to give us some.
Got a little sauce. Later in the drive, 2nd and 1 on the 20, Josh Jacobs runs it up the middle for a 20-yard. They needed 1 yard, right?
Hey, 1 yard.
They gave him 20.
That's the same play we ran last week for the touchdown. Little ISO, okay, fullback coming, leads away. Great job, and you can't understand how the Chargers are not better at stopping the run.
All right, so the Raiders pull to within 3. Next possession, Herbert is sacked by Isaiah Palomao. Loss of 9 yards.
There's that guy again, though, Amber.
The Chargers will be forced to punt. Raiders' next possession, Derek Carr to Foster Moreau. That was beautiful.
Listen, a little tight end wheel route on the linebacker.
I like it.
Ball placed right in the money. Oh, just look at that. Great job by looking it in. All you young guys out there, look at the point and catch the fat. It's just what Foster did. 32
yards. Raiders offense stalls, though, and forces a 55-yard field goal attempt. But, hey, Daniel Carson says, no problem. I got it.
55.
We got a tie game. 55.
Yeah.
It's indoors. There's no wind. We're all good. So 140 left in the half. Chargers next possession. And Keenan Allen gets in on it. We hadn't seen him all game until that point.
Injured the first half of our first game and really haven't seen a lot of him. But there goes that guy one more time. 55, making it happen all day long today.
1:30 left now in the half.
Get your shine on, 55. Great job here. He bull rushed for the most part today. He has those long arms, able to get in and make it happen.
So Cameron Dicker, the kicker, from 34 yards out, he makes it. And the Chargers lead at the half, 13-10, but it would not be over. Still another half. Chargers start with the ball, and Austin Eckler fumbles right out the gate. Harmon, that was Deron Harmon, forcing the fumble, and it was Nate Hobbs. Nice to have him back with the recovery.
Great having Hobbs back, even though he's bandaged up a little bit. But again, that's something that Austin Eckler doesn't do much. Great job of us attacking the ball. You saw several players around the ball carrier securing the tackle, and then that third guy comes in trying to punch it out.
Raiders' first play after the turnover. Derek Carr looks to who?
I think 17.
Yeah, I think that's somebody you want to look to.
Yeah,
and Davante Adams gets the touchdown. Raiders lead 17-13.
Wow. He's doing
okay,
what's that? The robot or something? Another double move.
Yeah,
and again, this is the matchup. This is the matchup we all want to see, the corner on Davante, but every matchup he continues to control and dominate. Great job. The guy has his hand. He catching the ball with one hand, doing his dances in the end zone, got his Jordans on. He's just all day, all day.
Jumping ahead later in the third quarter, Josh Jacobs, 13 yards on the ground. He likes contact.
Man,
he loves
Luminor, all those guys up front, Amber, getting it done. Just really making sure that this thing, things like this can be set up by the run.
That's look at that crossover. Asante Samuel looked like he was on the basketball court.
Oh, man. Again, a double move. So safety, he takes off with the receiver. Now Davante's wide open. I'm not sure if the safety should have probably went on top of Davante, but it really wouldn't have made a difference anyway. Just a great play call right there.
High stepping. Raiders lead 24-13. Jumping ahead to the fourth now. Herbert looking for Keenan.
Look at that.
Allen. Incomplete.
Oh, incomplete. Another great pocket. Look at this here.
Hey, hang in there, buddy.
Yes, those two young guys going to get out there for a long time.
Having a lot of fun there, 4th and 12.
Oh, man. Once again, I mean, Austin Eckler is such a really good vital tool for the check down for Justin Herbert. And once again, he shows up, 55 in the middle of the football field, gets a knockdown, making it very difficult. So they go for it on 4th and 12 here.
4th and 12 in the fourth quarter,
look, come on.
I mean, you can't do anything about that.
Yeah, outside the pocket, he's extending plays.
There is nothing you can do.
Is that a duck or something? What is he doing? What is that?
The version of the waddle?
Yeah, it looked like kind of like a maybe alert defense where the safety's going to kind of match up with that underneath route, but on the scramble, it buys time, and there's very few guys in the league who are better at doing this than Justin Herbert.
Later in the fourth, 2nd and 4. And Herbert finds Gerald Everett. He had some big plays, 18 yards, first down, Chargers. 2 plays later, again, the big tight end, Gerald Everett.
And see how Herbert is moving in the pocket, stepping up. It's just really difficult to get a guy like that down.
So he gets a 16-yard gain, says, get off me. He's hard to break down. That's a big dude. 3rd and 9 on the Raiders 42. Justin Herbert incomplete.
Yeah.
To Keenan Allen. His forces.
3rd and 9.
Yep, there you go. Now move to 4th and 9 on the Raiders 42. Herbert incomplete to DeAndre Carter, and they turn it over on down.
Welcome back, Nate Hobbs.
It's nice to have him back there. Led the team in tackles today, by the way. 2nd and 10, under 20 seconds left. They're working on a prayer.
Oh, man.
Lateraling
I
out
remember
there.
this from a long time ago, like in the 70s or something, when they were lateraling the ball back. I got kind of nervous right here, Amber. I was like,
because we saw that Kyler Murray 2-minute run in the
We've
overtime,
seen it before.
so we know what can happen. But here they go with one last chance, and just can't get out of bounds.
Right.
And that'll do it. The Raiders win this one, 27-20. A lot of love between Derek Carr and Justin Herbert. A lot of respect as the Chargers and the Raiders split this season series. So taking a look at your final game stats brought to you by Sports Water. Look at the rushing yards.
Yo, man.
154 yards. A week after 283 yards on the ground. Now, what's interesting is the Raiders lost the turnover battle.
Yeah, they did.
They lost the time of possession battle, but came up with some big plays when they needed it the most. And 3 penalties. We'll take that.
Yeah, we will. We will. And that's something I was going to point to. That's something we need to continue to get better at. That has been plaguing us. Last couple of weeks hasn't hurt us. The red zone is kind of like, let's put that in context. A lot of their balls that they were able to score on were outside of the red zone, so we really didn't need the red zone per se. But, I mean, this was probably the best win so far for our football team. Defensively, played really well. I thought we played well last week, but 34 points, it's not.
Yeah,
and then
defense giving up 34 points.
Right. The running game was on point. Devontae was on point. I just thought we shared the ball. We impacted the game up front. I mean, this was the perfect game, and plus, those hated Chargers, you love beating them.
Really great job by the offensive line once again.
Yeah.
We don't, whenever we don't talk about the offensive line, that's a good thing.
That's a great
but
thing.
We need to talk about them because of the amount of rushing yards that they're able to block for on the ground. Josh Jacobs had 144 yards. It just seems like we come to expect this from him a week after having 303 yards from scrimmage. So they kept pounding the football, though, even at times when Davante Adams was one-on-one. You could see that the cornerback was lined up one-on-one. They still stuck with pounding the football, and that led to good things. Now, you said that you would like to see Davante, and me as well. I'll take responsibility for
everybody.
this. Yeah, everybody. Davante Adams involved earlier. We didn't see him have a catch in the first quarter.
Yeah, and Davante himself will probably let us know that too. And again, when you don't see a lot of Davante early in the game, it's something that you're just not aware that this guy can make anything happen with the football. So again, we would like to see opportunities for him in one-on-one matchups. Okay, run the ball on 1st or 2nd down, but as soon as that guy comes up in the box, that safety, you have to figure out a way, hey, we're going to isolate Davante. We're going to get it done on the outside. So again, he's going to be their racer and get it done.
177 yards for Davante Adams. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Davante live from Allegiant Stadium. It is Raiders game day. Raiders get the win over the Chargers. Raiders Game Day is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation, made to chill. So the Raiders with a come-from-behind win, 27-20 over the Chargers, and a big part of that win is this man right here. Davante Adams had a huge game. Davante, I know how emotional this must be. You guys win 3 in a row. How big was this win just to get one in the division, to get the 3rd in a row, and to get one at home?
It's big. It's big. Obviously we could and should have held it down at home a little better, in the past, but our mindset is kind of on to the future, and this was the closest game in front of us. So we knew we had to come out here, get it done, give these fans something to watch, and put ourselves in the best position moving forward. And I think this is when we go out and do stuff like this, we start building momentum and kind of establishing who we are, establishing our identity. So we just got to keep it rolling.
Yeah, Davante, another just outstanding performance, man. Every week it seems like we're talking about a matchup between you and another corner. Talk to us today about the matchup. You just exploited all the guys in the secondary, the Chargers. Talk about your mindset going into this football game.
Yeah, I mean, I got basically the same mindset going in each game. You know, I want to do everything I can to make it as easy on my offense as possible. So, you know, I'm obviously a guy that's relied on a lot in this offense, so just want to go out there and try to get open as much as possible. And I know Derek's going to be looking for me, so just trying to make as many plays to put us in the best spot to win.
Devontae, you and I sat down this week and you talked about your basketball game, taking a lot of your moves from your hoops game. I don't know if you saw, you're going to watch the tape. I'm sure you're going to see on one of the touchdowns. You broke Asante Samuel's ankle. It looked like an Iverson crossover. I was like, that's what that man was talking about with those basketball moves. But look, you had a huge game, 177 yards. That's your 4th highest total ever in your career. What allowed you to start clicking? Because you didn't catch a pass till the second quarter.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a slow start, but, you know, Derek and I talk, and we on the same page, and he knows where I am, and he knows that I'm going to be out there running, trying to get open. So sometimes it just takes a little extra conversation with Coach, get things rolling. You know, I like to think that if I can get my hands on the ball early, you know, good things generally happen with the offense. So I just want to be as reliable as possible. Go out there, use that basketball background, like you said. You know, guys aren't used to seeing some of the stuff, so I think that's where they end up in a little trouble. But yeah, just got to be as consistent as possible with that and keep it rolling.
To follow up on the communication between you, DC, and the coaches, how does that go? And, you know, if you're slow, you're not getting balls early, do you step to them? Does DC step to you? How does that conversation go?
It's a little bit of all of that, really. Sometimes my coach will come and tell me what he's thinking. DC will say, you know, keep your head in it, and you know, I'm coming to find you, you know, or I'll approach either one, and we'll talk about, you know, ways to make it happen. That's the best part about this team with the coaches and my quarterback is that, you know, nobody feels like they're above the team or above you. At the end of the day, you know, if you've earned the right to have an input, it's definitely valued. So I appreciate that about my quarterback and my coach.
And when you look at a guy like Josh Jacobs on your team, ho-hum, he had just 144 yards on the ground, just a normal day at work for him. How does he allow you to do what you do?
Well, I mean, he makes it to where, you know, they can't sit there and just play cover 2 all day. And, you know, 2 high safeties, that makes it a little tougher on me. And I try to do the same thing for him and you know, end up with light boxes every now and then too. So, you know, we feed off of each other. We know that, you know, we 2 of the guys that are relied on the most on this offense to, you know, get that ball moving. So we love that burden and we embrace it and go out there and try to just be as consistent as we can. Because we know, you know, if we playing our brand of ball, people can't stop us. So we just got to keep doing that.
Devontae, as an old cornerback, I love the in-game battles, the kind of mind tricks. Are you able to give us any conversations between you and the secondary of the Chargers today?
I don't.
Come on now, DA.
That's not suitable for work. That's not suitable for work. So,
he didn't need to talk. He had a crossover. He didn't need to talk.
Maybe if I get mic'd up one of these days, you'll get an inside little look at that. But for now, we'll just keep it on the field.
We need to do that one.
For sure.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, Devontae, but when you look at the standings right now you guys are in 10th place in the AFC. 7 teams go to the playoffs. You're just 1 game behind the Chargers, 1 game behind the Patriots. You play the Patriots in a couple of weeks. Is there a little bit of that mentality of like, wait a minute, there's a chance here. This is not over.
Absolutely. I mean, until it's over, it ain't over. And then, you know, even if it was, we'd be coming out here still trying to put the best product on tape. So that's the type of players we are. Just keeping, I mean, you keep your foot on the gas regardless of the situation. And, you know, winning games late in this league is, you know, what kind of establishes what type of team you are. So we just got to keep it rolling.
I can't let you go without saying Derek Carr and you with the collabo. You guys really feel like you're hitting that rhythm that we expected to see all season long?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a work in progress, still growing and getting better. I think every week you're seeing it starting to get a little closer and closer to, you know, what it was like in college. And, you know, that's not the benchmark. But at the end of the day, you know, we have had success together. So, you know, more time we get together, more labbing we get, the better product you'll see.
All right, Davante Adams, keep balling out there. I mean, crossing them over, all of that.
All
basketball,
that stuff.
football, everything. We enjoy watching you play, and we can't wait to see you on a short week out there against the Rams.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. And the Raiders do have a chance at the playoffs.
Yes.
And I don't want to jinx it, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we brought it up there to Davante. Right now in 10th place. Let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to say that, isn't it?
That's
this
right.
This is the first week that we've said
Climbing
you're
back,
saying
climbing
there's a chance.
back.
They are clawing their way
Look at that, look
back
at that.
into it, and they are on the board.
That's right.
They are in 10th place in the AFC right now, as I said.
We play that team that's in the 8th spot in a couple weeks, too.
They do. They play that team in the 8th spot and do play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
That's going to be a tough one at the very end of the season. But New England Patriots, a beatable team, and then we split the series with the Chargers. And so the Las Vegas Raiders need to just keep winning.
Right.
And if Davante Adams continues to play the way that he has played, that is going to be a big reason for it. But taking a look at some of the stuff that he did today.
The formula is there, and we can see it each and every week. Can't wait till the last minute. But I love this one right here because that tells you he's going to throw that ball right down the hash. You got to be there as a route runner, so all the setup and everything doesn't really matter. You got to be at the right spot, off the line of scrimmage. Got the quick jam. But he does a great job using his hands. Has that outstanding lateral movement. Comes from basketball, like he was talking to Amber about with the interview this week. And right here again, he really crossed the man over right here. This we call a dagger. So he steps him up the front, he tops him, and then he brings him in, cuts right down the line. You see how he's running right down the line? That means that he's going attacking the football. Outstanding job. Now we're going to come up, double move him. Again, outside, got great hands. You're going to extend the last second, push off, bam, catch the ball when you need to catch it. So he does everything really quick. He's a great thinker on the football field. He gives you different leverages that he's trying to break you down. Here's a double move again. Look at the safety. He chooses outside, so Davante is wide open on the double move, flea flicker. He beats you all types of different ways, Amber. Such a great guy to break down his film to show young receivers because he does it all. He does the long ball. He catches first downs.
That was the
toe
crossover
taps.
I was talking about.
Yeah,
You see
the guy's just like,
break.
and on one of them, Amber, one of the DBs from the Chargers made a good play. Davante was kind of upset, and at the end of the play, he was like, he patted Davante man, I just got lucky.
I just got lucky on that one. Well, Davante Adams isn't lucky. He's balling. A single season receiving touchdowns. Right now, in a single season, he has 12. Art Powell leads the list with 16. That's back in 1963.
Woo,
we
that's
still have, 4 games to go? 4 games to go.
4 or 5.
I don't know. I was told there would be no math. But there's a chance to catch him is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
there was an opportunity being that close. And so Davante Adams in his first year as a Raider, possibly making Raiders history. But he wouldn't be there without his quarterback, Derek Carr, who we mentioned there. That collaboration started over a decade ago in Fresno State.
That's right.
It took a minute.
Bulldogs.
Took a minute to get them back connected together again. As he said, it's coming along every single week. But here's what Derek Carr had to say about this win over the Chargers.
Derek, it probably seems like forever ago, but the last time you were up at this podium, you kind of laid it on the line.
Yep.
Got emotional about it and put it out there. Safe to say you feel like the guys in the locker room and everybody else in this operation responded accordingly?
It was a quick 3 weeks, wasn't it? Man, I feel like, for me, I think it was just the frustration and the anger of certain things, that I don't regret. Things needed to be said, things needed to be handled. And when you love a place and you love a organization, when you love something so much, I mean, you put your heart into it, And so to see the way we've responded since then, it's a proud moment for me. I'm happy about it. But we got a long way to go until I feel really good about it.
Defense gave up 1 touchdown today against a pretty good offense. I'm sure that you're standing over their sideline pleased about that, right?
It's unbelievable. It makes playing quarterback so much easier, when you go out there and you don't have to force something because it's going to be a shootout, or you don't have to try and make a play when it's not there and make a bad decision and things like that. So the way they played today, if they can play like that, I mean, I've always said it, defense and being able to run the ball and throw it efficiently, that's what will help you win, get to the playoffs, and hopefully win a championship. And the way that they played today was unbelievable. The way that they tried to get after the quarterback, and the way they rushed and covered, the way they worked together. They're such a good football team. The Chargers are unbelievably talented, and for our guys to play that well was really impressive.
Obviously have a lot of pride. as do a lot of guys. But when you see something like Chandler Jones, who maybe it wasn't working out for in numbers, throughout the course of the season, for him to have the game like that he had, your thoughts on that?
I know. I just know it was a relief for him, But we're in a day and age where like numbers are like what compare people as good players or bad fantasy points, good or bad, and things like that. And it's the way he's been playing the run this year has been unbelievable. The way he's set the edge, the way he's, there's a lot more than just a stat, a touchdown, a sack. He's played really good football. Obviously, as a pass rusher, you want sacks. You want to get the ball out. You want to do those things. And so I know that there was some kind of relief there, but it's not like he's been playing bad football. We have two good rushers, on the outside, and people chip them all the time. They're doing different things and all sliding to one and chipping the other, doing that. And so to see that kind of break free for him today was really cool.
Usually get 24 hours to enjoy this. This is probably cut in half.
Not only did the team respond 3 weeks ago when Derek Carr stood at that same podium and showed so much emotion by ripping off 3 wins in a row, they responded today. The offense did today. Derek Carr responded, showed resilience after throwing that pick 6 early in the game.
Amber, and that's what it's all about. 3 weeks ago, we talked a lot about the emotion, and the emotion part was what it was, but what mattered was what was going to happen after the emotions. And you've seen what has happened the last 3 weeks. He's played incredible football, not perfect, had some turnovers, but he was able to overcome those turnovers along with the team because they all now understand how important it is for Derek and the rest of this team to build upon each opportunity, right? You have some stumbles, but you only learn from those stumbles. That's what's going on right now. They've done an outstanding job thus far, continuing to really have a formula for winning, and hopefully it continues.
And as Josh McDaniels said in his post-game speech to the locker room, he said, you guys believe in each other. And we're seeing that. It's real. We are seeing it now. It is real. When we come back, I'll tell you who's real. Josh Jacobs, real for 144 yards on the ground. We're going to talk about him coming up next on Raiders Game Day.
What's good, Raider Nation? This is Zachariah Branch, and I play wide receiver at Bishop Gorman High School. I started flag when I was 5 years old. My dad actually played collegiately and a little bit professionally. So, we was always around football growing up in a football household. It means a lot to know that people in the community are looking up to me as a leader. I've got a chance to give back to the community in a lot of ways, whether it's through the Salvation Army or giving back to those in need through making sunshine bags to the homeless youth. Big thank you to the Raiders organization and Intermountain Healthcare for giving me this great opportunity. Hey, Raider Nation, let's get it.
Raiders jumped into the win column 3 weeks ago, and they've stayed there 3 in a row, Eric Allen, and they get the win today against the Chargers inside the division. And Josh Jacobs comes up big 1 week after his 303-yard game. The guy's now had, 437 yards between the last 2 weeks and 3 touchdowns. Nobody can stop Josh Jacobs.
Nobody. In the ways he's getting to the edge, he's just a gifted runner. I love the jump cuts. And you talk about yards after contact, which is amazing at this point. He's the one who's the focal point of this offense. Everything revolves around. And look at this here. The lineman gives him opportunities to be untouched. He doesn't have to practice anymore pretty much. Now just run the ball 30 times a game, Josh. Again, such a gifted runner, though. I love the fact that he's able to low center of gravity, to be able to make those jump cuts, get up to the second level, put his shoulder down, finish forward. Look at all those things.
Look at that.
And strong all the way to the end of the football game, which is so important for this football team right now to have 3 guys that you can count on. You can count on the running game, you can count on your quarterback, you can count on the receiver. All 3 of those guys makes each other better.
And you can count on him on that flea flicker. That's 2 weeks in a row. You can count on him. But hey, you can count on him to have a historical season. That's what we're seeing right now. Check this out. The great Marcus Allen, the Hall of Famer. Marcus Allen. In his 85 season, his famous 85 season where he won the NFL MVP, right now through 12 games, Josh Jacobs is outpacing him in many categories. You can see 1,300 rushing yards, a little over 1,200 for Marcus at this point. Yards per attempt, he has more than him. He has 1 more rushing touchdown and 1 less 100-yard game. This is Marcus Allen.
This is Marcus Allen, San Diego's favorite son, Heisman Trophy winner, the great Marcus. And Josh is really stacking those numbers on. And we can't talk about, hey, they play 1 more game. Really doesn't matter. As you see through the first 12 games, Josh is getting it done. The touchdowns, because Marcus was a touchdown maker, right?
He was. That's
He was
what
just
he
a
did.
touchdown. That's what he does. Having Josh with 10 touchdowns right now, and then if you add on the receiving things, both these guys are outstanding, impactful players.
Josh Jacobs and Davante Adams had 321 yards of the Raiders' 403 total yards today. I mean, you have two players that can dictate that much of the offense.
Yeah.
That is impressive. Good
Pretty
things
special.
will continue to happen for the Raiders. Much more to come here on Raiders Game Day. We're going to talk about the defensive effort. They came out strong in the first quarter. EA is going to break it down in our defensive spotlight next. The Raiders get the win over the Chargers. This segment has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in. Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. The Raiders get the win over the Chargers, 27-20. They have now ripped off 3 in a row. And Eric, they came out fast on defense. We haven't seen that a lot this season.
Right, that's right.
They held them to just 20 points the first quarter, on fire. But more importantly, Chandler Jones showed up today. He had a day.
He had a day. Let's give some shine to Chandler Jones. And again, he's been close throughout this season, but we haven't had him see the numbers. Get the numbers. Put them on the board, right? So again, the pressure was there, but the numbers were not there. Again, this has been an outstanding job by this defense the last 2 weeks, but this week was the crowning jewel for this football team going against, one more time, the hated Chargers. So we got Chandler Jones. We got 3rd and 12 right here, right? So we know this football team likes to throw the ball in the middle. We're going to give a switch, a little T and stunt. Look at this, Chandler Jones. The one thing that's going to continue to pop up is how long Chandler is, right? Look at that. I mean,
wingspan.
Duran would have probably got the pick, but okay. So again, now we have him lined up on the edge like goofy foot, so he's not in that typical stance. Again, look at the length. We're going to retrace our drop, okay? That's a great job. All you young guys, when you get upfield, you just don't want to go around. You want to retrace once that quarterback steps up in the pocket. Look at that. And again, using his arms, and look at that length again, able to get the sack in. Outstanding job from Chandler Jones, making sure that you see his length. He's going to make the play. Again, 100% for Chandler Jones. Again, hey, we'll give a little in out. One more time for Chandler Jones. Gets the sack, finishes it off, and that's when you see the happiness. I finally got there with a clean sack, and it's all mine.
Look at Saylor. He beat him all day long. That's the guy filling in for Rashawn Slater.
That pressure up in the middle, really important for him. One more time, going to give a bull rush and an arm over. And you know what? He didn't get the sack here, but one more time, putting so much pressure on this left tackle. Love the technique here. He's grabbing his hands, do the whip around, causes him to step up, and you get the sack. But Chandler knows, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I'm here for you. One more time. 1st and 10, obvious passing situation, bull rush, pressure the pocket, and another sack for Chandler Jones. This is the kind of pressure we've been waiting for, the finish from Chandler Jones, the strength, the power to pushing the big 68 back into the pocket, collapsing, being very disciplined. Important here, Amber. 4th and 2, you got to get off the field. Most important play of the day, look at the length. Right there, make sure that Herbert, with his athleticism, doesn't get off. And Chandler Jones had himself an incredible, impactful day today. And hopefully this continues along with the rest of the defense, particularly in the middle of the football field. Last week, the 2 defensive tackles did a great job. This week, Chandler, and we always know that our guy Max is giving 100%.
Now the pressure's coming from both sides.
Oh, man.
Look out.
Yeah, you better look out.
They don't have their quarterback.
You better look out.
Up on Thursday Night
That's
Football.
right.
Coming up next. But check out some of the defensive highlights from this team. It wasn't just the front four. It wasn't just the pressure. Nate Hobbs was back. Duron Harmon had a good game. We saw a lot going on with this defense as a whole.
Yeah, on that play right there, great disguise. Look at that. We have the safety who is down in the box. He sprints to the middle, just trying to give Herbert little eye discipline here. And if you don't have it, you make mistakes. Great play in the end zone, being in front of the receiver, not behind the receiver, making a play, and that was a linebacker, Jayon Brown. Once again, the length on 4th and 2. Our guy Chandler gets us off the football field. We're all celebrating. And again, we have to find a way, to continue to pressure the pocket in the rest of our 5 games and get hits on the quarterback. Very important.
The interior defensive line has done a good job of
interior,
pressure.
And if you spread it, now you can have a linebacker who may shoot the hole. We get a turnover here, which is important, always trying to win a turnover battle. But I just thought the tackling was there, definitely against Austin Eckler. The pressure in the pocket was there. The coverage, for the most part, was there. We had some great chances for us to get our hands on the ball. Thought for the first game back, Hobbs played a very important role with our football team. And look here, season average, week 13 average. We need to have more stuff like this.
Look, Austin Eckler's on that team last time I checked, and they held the Chargers to 72 yards. And look at third down. I keep saying this.
Yes.
We're going to talk to Chandler Jones coming up later in the show. I'm going to ask him about third down. That was a focus of Patrick Graham's at practice. They were giving up 45% in the first
too much.
First part of the season, all the way through week 12. Last week we saw them give up 30%. They did really well last week, but less than 30% on third down this week. So trending in the right direction. They're getting the offenses off the field, putting the ball back in Derek Carr's hand. And Josh McDaniels gets another win as Raiders head coach. Here he is at the podium, brought to you by Yamava.
Josh, I got to imagine you're pleased with giving up one touchdown, 3 sacks by Chandler Jones, like you said, winning the third down battle, keeping him out of the end zone. What went into that today?
Yeah, I mean, we were a little bit more aggressive. Thought Pat really called a good game. I thought the defensive staff did a nice job of putting together a plan today that, we could kind of keep him off balance a little bit, play a little bit more man-to-man coverage, went after him a little bit in the blitz game, and then just, we tried to get him into some situations where it wasn't, 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 2 where they basically can do whatever they want. So I thought we forced some longer yardage situations where our guys could really kind of pin their ears back and pass rush, and thought Tillery showed up again inside Bilal. Some of those guys really kept the middle of the pocket compressed so our edge guys could make some plays. And again, it's a complementary pass defense. It doesn't work if you don't, if you're not tight in coverage and you don't, stop them from making those quick throws, then the rush sometimes can't get there. So I thought our guys did a decent job in coverage too.
Josh, I know you haven't seen the film, but in all 3 phases, it appeared that was probably the best performance so far of the team this year. Got smiles out of everybody, even when things weren't going good, including you. Is this the team, obviously a long ways to go, but where you envisioned in July, I think this is what we can be?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think every week's its own week, and this week's obviously going to be a very unique one for us. But I think, when you start out, you have to have an idea of what you want it to be like and what you want it to look like when you're doing it right. And, you never play a perfect game in football. It's an imperfect game. But I think that the way we compete, how tough and physical we're attempting to play in all 3 phases, again, I think we ran the ball well. I thought we stopped the run, decent today. And then, I thought we covered kicks, and all 3 of those things are, what we point to when we talk about toughness. And so I think our team has really bought in and believed in the way to try to win that way. And I think you start to see some of the fruit, of their labor here as we're moving through the season.
Along those lines, obviously complimentary football, but when you have a guy like Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, another 100 for Josh, 177 for Devontae, how much does that just take that operation and take it to a whole other level?
It takes it to another level, that's for sure. I think when you when you talk about those 2 guys, whenever you call something that they have a good chance of touching the football, you kind of you feel pretty good about it, and they're the reason for that. They come through over and over and over again in critical situations, and I thought Josh made a lot of hard yards today. I mean, it wasn't like they were gaping holes that he ran through and wasn't touched. I thought he really, fought his way through the line of scrimmage and kept his legs going and really had an opportunity to churn out a few hard yards. And then Tay just, what do you say? He just, keeps doing it over and over again. And, Derek gave him some chances and he comes down with them, So 2 really, really gifted football players.
Walk out of Allegiant Stadium with a win over the Chargers, 27-20, and a huge defensive effort from Chandler Jones, who joins us now from Allegiant Stadium. Chandler, congratulations on a big interdivisional win. You had a huge game, 3 in a row now for the Raiders. What was the emotion like in the locker room just moments ago?
Very high emotions. We knew how important this game was to us. Like I said, this is a conference game, a division game. And like I said, we just went out there and executed, and it showed.
Yeah, Chandler, outstanding job, impactful performance. You've been close all season long, right? So talk to us a little bit about the patience you had to have a game like this today.
Man, the patience that's the perfect word you used. Like I said, you know, we win a few games without any sacks, but I just feel like they come in bunches. The pressures, the sacks, the stats, and the wins. So hopefully they can keep coming and we can make a snowball effect, and hopefully we can keep them rolling.
How confident is this team right now? You guys went through so much early in the season, and now it just seems like you're playing complementary football, playing as a unit, and playing to the level that many people expected at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you could say confidence. I think the biggest thing is just trusting in each other, trusting in ourselves, trusting in the system, you know, buying into what the coaches are saying, and like I said, just having that mentality, that swagger, and like you said, confidence. But I think we're doing well. We're headed in the right direction. I just feel like we just got to keep doing what the coaches are telling us.
As a leader, how are you able to echo that message? You know, you've been around this league. You've played great football. You're an outstanding player. How are you able to echo that message to some of the younger players?
Yeah, just from experience. I know a lot of the players look at me in certain situations from my success, and then they wonder, you know, how do you do this, or how does it feel? You know, you won a Super Bowl before. How does it feel? And I told them it's crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. At this point of the season, especially after Thanksgiving, mistakes, they can't be limited. They have to be eliminated. It has to be perfect football. So as a leader on this team, I've been trying to reiterate that and just spread it out to the team and to the younger guys.
The biggest thing we notice, Chandler, when we look at this defense is how much it has improved over the past 3 weeks. And it's things like third down. You guys gave up less than 30% again on third down, able to force turnovers, getting sacks, things like that. And fundamentals like tackling. And I know that there was a lot of focus on the little things. How much did you guys go micro a couple weeks ago on focusing on these little things, and now you're seeing them come together?
It just goes back in the lung with just executing. You know, our coaches are always harping on tackling, wrapping up, even rushing the passer. You know, speaking for me and Max, I just feel like, you know, at this point of the season, it's time for us just to crank it up a little bit more, do extra in the film room, on the field, even after practice, a little bit more cardio. So we've been having a few later games, 2 overtime games, and this game kind of decided pretty late in the game. Those extra conditioning and cardio, it helps definitely in this game.
Without a doubt, had a great, impactful day. What was your best play of the day?
My best play, anything where it took the offense off of the field and got Derek Carr back the ball. So if we can do that, if we can get the ball in Derek Carr's hands and get our defense off the field, any play.
Well, they all felt good to us. All 3 sacks, all the tackles,
I know, right?
the losses, the pass defense, they all felt good to us. Hey, Chandler, congratulations on the win. Keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to see you on a short week in L.A. against the Rams.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Raiders. Modelo, a taste that's pure gold, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. The Raiders, the only team in the AFC West to get a win this week in Week 13, but in the NFC South, we have a Monday Night Football matchup between the Bucs and the Saints. Time for Monday Night Pick'em, and you know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. I'm struggling. I know I'm struggling.
Yes.
I could use the
struggling.
Win. I'm going to go. And James he went with the Saints, so he's with me on this. I like Chris Olave.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah,
Another San Diego guy, too,
yeah.
But there's no way. Tom Brady is going to clean up from now on. So, again, the Bucs are going to win on Monday, and I'm going to be tied with James.
It's in Tampa. You might be right. All right, the Rams coming up next for the Raiders. Thursday Night Football. So just in 4 days, we get to see the Raiders back in action. They lost today.
What do all 4 of those teams have in common?
They're beatable.
Quarterbacks.
Oh, okay.
Quarterbacks are all struggling.
I know, Jimmy
or young.
Jimmy
Love
G
that.
All right, so the Raiders get the win over the Chargers. 3 in a row. They look for 4 in just 4 days going up against the Rams. We'll see you on Raiders Game Day after the game on Thursday. Good night.